What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom and become the rockstar agent in your market. We have a very special guest with us who has become the rockstar agent in her market, but not by what you might think of in terms of spending tens of thousands of dollars on online lead generation or being plastered all over the radio and television. She's done it through relationships. And so we're going to go deep into that. In fact, we're actually going to talk about why you should go deep and not wide. So mile deep and an inch wide on your relationships. We're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to talk about being a generous agent, gifting, and the way to get to your clients' hearts through very thoughtful giving. And so we've got a lot of very, very cool stuff to get into. And I know this is going to be of interest to you. It doesn't matter whether you're a new agent, Greg. Doesn't matter if you're resetting, if you're looking to build a lifestyle business. The Junior Grandmaster himself is here as always, and actually in person, in the flesh.
I am. What up, pimps? Oh man, this is gonna be a good show. Monica has a sound machine. I have a sound machine. I think Volpe tried to get a sound machine. I stole Johnson's sound machine. So sadly Matt is on the outs, but he doesn't care. But anyways, I'm excited. Monica, we were all chatting before, and this woman is awesome. So I am excited to have her. Jean is a blessing as always. So welcome you guys. Welcome to the Friday edition of what the fuck is our podcast? Real Estate Uncensored. Wow. Yeah.
Cut. Start again.
Yeah. Cut. Exactly. All right. Do it over.
Well, first of all, Monica Weakley. Monica, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we're so excited to have you here. You are one of the what we call it, the Hank Avink posse, cadre, syndicate. So one of the many fantastic guests that Hank has introduced us to, and we might talk about how you encountered him, but that's kind of why we were introduced to each other, and we've got a lot of great stuff to cover with you because you have I would say a similar relationship first based approach, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No cold calling for me.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
Yeah. And we run into, we've obviously the course that's on the back end of our show, which is what the show is sponsored by, actually is called Getting Out Business. And that is the reason for that existence is the very first course that we came out with, Rockstar Prospecting, which is all about what Greg does, which is the circle prospecting and to a lesser extent, like FSBO calls and stuff like that. And that was fine. And there are people that enjoy that. But a big segment of our audience was like, feeling left out in the cold, like, hey, what do I do if I don't want to just bang my head against a brick wall calling 99 people out of 100 that say no effectively? So basically you've built your business without really doing that.
Yes. From the get-go, I thought if I have to cold call, I'm going to cry every single day, probably, run home, and it's not going to last very long because I'm a really high I, for those of you that understand and use the DISC assessment.
I don't believe it for a second.
I am. I'm a really high I, and I can cry at the drop of a hat if you even so much as hang up on me. So it's not happening, and so I had to figure out another way. And relationships, kind of all I knew, and I got really lucky right away in my business with people giving me a shot based on an existing relationship before I was even in real estate. Nice. So I sort of just honed in on that, and then over time got very systematic about what I was doing and not just sitting back and saying, hey, I've got good relationships, let's do this. I got real purposeful with it.
And that's where most agents are. If you were to talk to like a local agent who's doing 15, 20, 25 transactions a year, they'll tell you it's all about relationship, except they don't have the other side of it, which is systems, which is why they never seem to grow. And the peaks and valleys in their business seem to be beyond their control.
That's right. Right. Well, just like anything else, when you're busy, you drop your relationships. You stop doing those things. So it's the same thing as lead gen in a way, and this is just called what I call lead attraction versus lead gen, but it has the same roller coaster effect.
Yeah. No, boy, that's true. All right, well, let's bring in somebody else that we have a great relationship with because he's here with us every Friday. The Volpinator, the evil bald ninja, Gene, who's right now looking for some way to make noise, but we'd rather you didn't. Gene Volpe.
No. Listen, I wasn't. I was looking around for the guy you were talking about. I didn't realize it was me. But listen, I'm very happy to be here with you guys during Fire Week.
Fire Week?
Fire Week.
Yeah. So we had earlier in the week at Fire Point. Today you have Firefly, and I'm just getting ready to launch my new service called Fire Crotch. Fire Crotch. coming out next week. I'll tell you what it is on Monday. Fire Crotch is coming at you hot and hotter. All right?
You're not kidding, are you?
Oh my God.
I just made that up.
Yeah. Man alive. That was awesome.
Sorry. Thanks for having me, boys.
It's an all-new real estate lead generation service.
Oh, Fire Crotch.
Yo, it's gonna set your pants on fire.
That's right. Everything has a sting. It's wonderful.
That's
yeah. Monica's like, peace.
No, boy.
Very testosterone driven. So, but dude, lay some knowledge on us, Volpe.
Oh, you ready for it now? You ready for it now?
Do it now.
All right. And then I'll get out of your way. That's great because I know Monica's got some great stuff. So today, tech tip of the week is called Lumen 5, Lumen, the number 5.com, Lumen 5. So everybody knows the big craze on videos and how video is much more preferred than any other kind of content that goes out on your social media. This is a happy little marriage between your written blogs, if that's what you like to do, and turning it into a video. So what Lumen 5 does is it allows you to import the video or the blog that you've written, and it turns it into a video slideshow with some pictures and videos behind it and your text over it. So you've probably actually seen some of that stuff in some of your feed and advertisements. This makes it's free. Obviously, they have services and different kinds of pricing that you can upgrade to, different types of tools that they use in it. But you can use it right now for free and try turning one of your already written blogs into a video and see what kind of exposure and engagement it gets you.
That is awesome. Is it free or not free?
It is free to start, yeah. And then you know, like everything else, Greg, you can bump it up and pay $9 or $10 or 20, whatever it is a month, and you get these nice little fancy features. But yeah, you can start for no charge.
That makes my life easy. Now I just have to write something. Matt, write something.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I'm like, this is a tool that Greg will never use.
No, there's no point to it. I can just talk.
Greg would literally just pick up his phone and go to Facebook Live before he ever wrote something and turned it into a video.
God, yes. Yeah, no, that's really great though for people that have face for a radio. You know, this is something where they can really get out there and do video and do stuff like that and be part of the cool kid club. And I'm very glad for them.
Yeah, and truth be told, people who write.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was talking to a real estate coach the other day, and he's got, you know, years of backlog blog content, which he's turning into, you know, like a downloadable product or a saleable product. But he's got, you know, a ton of absolutely phenomenal blog content. I mean, this would be a great way if he wanted to turn it into more free, you know, social media content. Just run it through Lumen 5 essentially and turn those backlog blog posts into videos.
Yeah, why not? Hey, listen, see what it gets you from an engagement perspective. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, reading some of the comments here. This is pretty damn funny. Paul Franklin's like, Gene was a ginger before he became a cue ball.
Oh, boy. Thanks, Paul. I thought we were tight. Jeez.
Nikki, what's going on? Good to see you as well. James Colburn, what up, dude?
Author of Re-Succeed, which
right up here.
So we're gonna get James on the show regularly. This is the book that he wrote, Re-Succeed.
Yeah, great book.
So we're super pumped that James is going to join us on a regular basis and start sharing the content. We're actually going to go through the book basically 1 to 2 chapters at a time, which is going to be incredible.
Super sick. Yes. Get a copy. Yeah. Don't be a bitch. Buy the book.
That's right. In fact, Greg, you've got I'm entertaining myself here by looking at your evening note cards with his 3 key questions on it, which I bought note cards and have yet to use them because I've been doing a lot of my stuff in a journal. But that I need to start doing that and be more disciplined about writing down the questions at the end of the night because the epic evening ritual is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, Gene, before we let you go for the day, how do people reach out and get in touch with you?
GeneVolpe.com. Yeah. Yes, sir. GeneVolpe.com, info@GeneVolpe.com, 610-952-1081. 1081, right?
All right. And we'll be hanging out hopefully in person at the end of this month.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we can bring some good stuff to the people. You know what I mean?
I think so. We'll
see how it plays out.
Well, we'll let you go. Monica. I'm sure you have a Philadelphia football game to watch this weekend, so you enjoy that.
I do. Thanks, boys. Enjoy your time together. Don't get too close, okay?
Yeah, no, trust me. We're putting up an invisible barrier. Like, if you touch me, this is going to get weird.
That's right. There's going to be duct tape on the floor the next time somebody comes in.
Your side of the office, my side of the office.
Right.
Good luck, y'all.
Gene, take care.
Later, bud.
All right, Monica, let's turn back to you. So Monica, give us an idea. So you kind of touched on a little bit of like when you first got into the business, and of course you're essentially looking around at the same landscape that agents are looking at now, where most of the advice is coming out. Where I mean, and even from there, whether it's from the top real estate coaches in the industry, all the way down to the broker and the person that recruited them, and the person they might be sitting next to at their brokerage office might be telling them the same exact thing. Hit the phones, hit the phones, hit the phones. Doesn't matter who you call. It's a numbers game. Hit the phones. Quit bitching and hit the phones.
Right.
So what was it? There's typically two responses to that I see in the vast majority of cases. Number one, which is they give up and leave the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes them a while and they hold on for as long as they can, but then they basically just give up and acknowledge that, well, I failed in real estate. And number two is they give in and they start making the calls and they eke out an existence and they keep prospecting until they're in their 60s and then realize they have no retirement and they die sadly. So what was it about you that said, I'm not going to do either one of those things. I'm definitely not going to fail out of this business. I'm going to find another way.
It was, first of all, desire to succeed in the business. I had, I had just left a career and I had been given a severance and I had 3 months to get it going because that's all the money I had. So I was like, okay, I've got to do this. I know that I won't cold call. And somebody told me when I first got in, what they said was, whatever you do, do it consistently. Whatever you do, do it consistently. And I just took that to heart. I didn't know whether it was true or not. Actually, it's probably the best advice anybody has ever given me, and it's the best advice I can give anybody is figure out what you will do and do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. And be honest with yourself. If I could, you and I could have a call and you'd be like, you can just cold call 1 hour every day, just do it. And I'd be really excited and I'd say, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then, 2 days later, it's like, hell no, I'm not going to do that. So be honest with you. Be honest and figure out what you will do. I don't care if it's open houses, do them and do them really well and do them consistently. So that's where I was. And I thought, well, this is what I know. I know it's relationship business. I know how to do that. I know how to do relationships. And that's where I started.
So you started off with relationships. Who was the first person you called? Did you kind of take a soft pitch hit and call someone that you knew was going to be nice to you? Or did you jump in the deep end and be like, all right, this guy was a dick. Let's call him.
Yeah, she didn't call. Do you remember getting a call from Monica 15 years ago?
I was referring to you.
Oh, me? Oh, okay.
I didn't have your numbers. I'm sorry. No, I called everybody I knew. I just said, hey, it's Monica. I'm in the business. I'm in real estate now. Who do you know that might be looking to buy or sell a house soon? I didn't even know what a script was, but I just said it.
That was your magic.
One of my first listings. Yeah, that's right. There was a guy sitting in my office. We shared an office, and he actually turned to me one day. He'd been in the business a while. Actually, he's out of the business now, but he turned to me. He said, "You're doing all the right things."
Like, thank you? Unsolicited comment?
Okay. So, yeah. And you know what? A gal gave me a $1.3 million listing in my first 3 months. And Cincinnati, that's a lot. And she gave me a chance just based on a relationship. So, but it was dumb luck in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. It was just dumb luck. It was me just talking to people.
Yeah, but you see, you're doing something that people don't do in real estate. Have a conversation. Reach out and have like, hey, Matt, can I buy you a cup of your crack? And I mean coffee when I say that. And sit down and have a communication. I have people all the time. Actually, my girlfriend, if she's watching, sorry, babe, I love you, but I'm going to throw you under the bus. When I first met her, I don't know if I've told you this, but I met her. She asked me about some coaching stuff, and I were talking, and she calls me up, and she's all upset, and I'm like, well, what's wrong with you? Because I didn't know her, I didn't give a shit. And she's like, I had this guy, and he wanted to give me a listing, but I got so nervous I hung up the phone. I'm like, well, I found the problem. You hung up the damn phone.
Yeah.
And if she's listening, sorry, but but what you did is you didn't hang up the phone. You had a drop dead date of 90 days. You're like, I gotta make some money, honey, and you just did it. And I think that is the powerful part. No is a conditional yes. No, okay, that's not no. That's just not now, and that's what people forget about. That's how I think. That's honestly some of the magic that you brought to it. We didn't even know it at that point.
Well, and you're right, and it was dumb luck. But when you think about our industry right now and you hear real estate agents talking, think how they talk. They say, I got to go get a listing. I need to take a listing. I need to get more business. I need a closing. It's all of this like pointing this way. I mean, think about how we talk. It's the language that is like sort of setting up your mindset around this business. And that is that stuff has to come to me. And think if you flip that and it was, I can offer you. I'd like to give you. I'd like to provide. I'd like to commit this to you. And it's very forward facing. And it's the Zig Ziglar. You can have everything you want in life if you just help others get what they need. And if we flip our mindset, I don't care if you are an agent that will cold call, that these principles apply, right?
Yeah.
It's how can I help you? And that's one of the reasons I think agents hate cold calling is they go into the call that they're trying to get something from the call instead of just going into the call like, I am here to help you and I believe I'm the best person to do so. So I'm going to stay on this phone until you say yes because I can help you. So that's how that applies to that side of the business too.
Yeah, my dad, the Grand Master, when he started a business 46 years ago in Boulder, Colorado, he literally went out the same mindset you did, Monica. He went out there with the mindset of, everybody likes me, they just haven't met me yet, and I'm here to help them. Because his brother had polio, so he said, I have the cure for polio. And he went out there to give before he ever got. And he ended up with like the largest IBM account and a number of other massive accounts because of that attitude of giving first and then getting something later when the law of reciprocity comes full circle. And I love how you thought about that, just twisting, shifting your mindset. Simon Sinek does a masterful job of shifting your mindset. If you guys don't know Simon Sinek, go to YouTube, take a look at him. Go to the one, he has an 18-minute and 3-second video. It's him with a big sheet of white paper with 3 circles. Go watch that video. It'll change everything about the way your mindset is.
Cool. Who is he, by the way? What's his?
Speaker, author, consultant. He's epic. I mean, he is absolutely epic. If I could have lunch with one business idol, it'd be him. Because I know my mind would completely shift in the way that I approach things. Matt, we should consult with him.
Cool.
I was like, what?
I need to read the book. All right. Yeah, that's bad. I haven't read the book yet.
You shitting me?
Yeah, that is no joke.
I'm gonna give you my phone. Just go for a walk. I'm gonna give you the book. You can listen to it.
All right, so let's talk about like how you got more systematic, Monica. So was this something that like over time did getting more systematic about the way that you built relationships? Was it something that happened naturally as that part of your personality kind of expressed itself in the business? Or did somebody kick your butt and say, hey, you need to get more systematic about building relationships? Like, how did that shift happen from doing it naturally to doing it systematically?
Over a long period of time, and not because somebody kicked me in the butt. Quite frankly, the system came when people started asking me to teach it to them. Like, so when the coaching and the training kind of came into my world, it was, all right, this is sort of something that is natural to me, probably just because I've been doing it for a while. Not because it's just in my heart. Maybe that's a little bit of it, but more that I just been doing it. And so I at the time did not have anything I was following. Facebook actually wasn't. I'm that old. That just made me really sad.
I can hear that in your voice. I'm that old. Oh.
Facebook.
I had a clamshell phone.
Greg used to deliver the MLS in a car, so you can't beat Greg as far as
what? I did what?
Didn't you used to go with your dad to like deliver the MLS books in the car?
Fuck you, I'm not that old.
I thought you said that.
When he started his career, the MLSs were delivered by taxi.
I know, but I thought you actually went with him on some of those
46 years. I'm 38. Okay. Jackass.
Anyway, Facebook has made life a lot easier to get to know people, obviously. Yeah, so the systems kind of came from a need to. People want systems and people will work systems. So putting it into that was by default.
Okay. Gotcha. So let's talk about how that, especially on social media, how do you show up differently on social media? Because that's where a lot of agents struggle with. What do I say? What do I put out there? And of course, a lot of it is they're starting from the mindset of what can I get rather than what I can give. Right. So yeah, when you talk about showing up differently on social media, what do you mean by that?
So if you think of some people you know, and I can list a bunch of people I know that are what I call Facebook voyeurs, and they simply just look and watch. That's it.
You'll love a good voyeur in your life. Mm.
That's right. It's legal on Facebook. It's frowned upon in other places, but whatever. I didn't get in trouble for that one. Not once. Anyway, so this is about not just using Facebook as a window out onto the world, but as a way to really connect. And I say to show up and to be human. And we have this amazing tool, Facebook, to do that with by simply engaging. And Hank Avink, the National Coaching League, teaches a class called 36 to Life, which is putting a system behind that as well, and how to show up with likes and conversations and how many you should be doing every day. So whether you adopt something like that or you just engage more and you see what people are interested in, and then you share with them in that interest. You offer them a piece of value. You comment. I mean, you know what it's like when you put something out there and people blow up about it, and it makes you feel really good. I mean, that's what people want, is to be acknowledged and appreciated in all facets of their life. And Facebook's the coolest tool to do that with. Yeah.
You know, it can also be a double-edged sword sometimes when you put something out there and it falls flat on its face. You're like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? But then sometimes, I mean, I did that several times. I would put something out I thought was going to be epic and just done, like a dead bird shot out of the sky. You know, just landed hard. And then I'm like, well, I'll try something. I posted, I'll never forget this. I posted a picture of a ballerina's foot, you know, one with her shoe on, one without her shoe on, and her foot was fucked up, like just bandages and, you know, everything, like broken toes and everything else. So everybody wants to succeed until they have to do what it takes to be a success. And I just posted it because it was cool, right? And I'm like, that really kind of resonated with me. It got shared like 50 some odd times, and I was like, whoa. And then so I started. No, you can't. As long as you have to put out what is true to you and not trying to be true to someone else's truth. You know, own who you are. Like Matt would post about something about music. I don't know shit about music. So if I try to post, people will be like, what's wrong with him today? But if I post about, hey guys, I'm doing cold calls, which yes, Monica, I'm one of the cold callers. I'm the evil dark side.
I know. I admire you.
I want to be in your boat though. I want to be giving gifts and being able to hone into people's, you know, what their wants, needs, and desires. Like, you guys, you don't know this, but Monica sent me a gift, sent Matt a gift. Unfortunately, it's not going to get here until the show's over.
I'm sorry. Oh, it was going to be epic. You guys were going to open these gifts, and you're going to see how it feels to get a thoughtful gift, and wah, wah.
But you know what? You did send it to yourself, and that means you're thinking of yourself. And you're like, hey, this person needs a gift. Me.
I did. Freudian slip there somewhere. Like, I need a gift.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's too much fun. Okay.
Yes.
Anyways, back on track before I take us too far off.
Yeah, so getting back to the whole social media thing. So you talk about that flip from being a voyeur to more actively engaging. So tell people a little bit about what that looks like in like your life and kind of how you structure that.
So here's what you can look for on Facebook, and here are opportunities to step up and show up. First of all, you can see a common thread in somebody's world that they're really passionate about something. They post about it all the time. You see people that are passionate about animals. So you make a note of that. If that person is in your, however you're dividing your database up, are you dividing VIPs and fan club, or do you have A's and B's, or it doesn't matter how you do it, but you're going to identify the people that you want to pour into. Now let me caveat that a little bit. I do like to say that this is for business purposes only. I might have a different A-level list if I'm just talking about people that are, you know, close to me in my personal life. When I am talking about business, I'm talking about people that, yes, I'm close with, but that are in a position to give a referral. I'm doing it purposefully. So if somebody on my list has a husband who's a real estate agent, I'm not likely going to gift, pour into that person because I'm not getting those referrals. Her husband is. And I'm just being honest about that. That's not to say, that's just for the purpose of what we're talking about. That's not to say you should cross that person off your world just because of that. But so
no Christmas cards for you, buddy.
That's right. Sorry, you can quit. I will look for opportunities to do thoughtful gifting. I will look for opportunities for what I call random acts of kindness. So you see somebody's having a really bad week because they've been at the hospital with their sick parent or loved one, and you want to drop by with dinner. You know, those are great opportunities that you see on Facebook to do that. There's something I call the unsolicited compliment, and it seems a little bit weird to sort of put that in your brain as something to do, but how often, I don't know, can you guys relate to this? Do you often see something that you're like, especially as guys, you're like, God, I like that guy's shoes, or that girl looks particularly nice today, or whatever, and you don't say it out loud. We have these, I know you have to be careful, because...
That's it. Of course, Greg's brain is going way off track.
Right,
yes,
right.
Monica, we know what you mean.
You know what I mean, right? You see something, you say, I really like that. Gosh, that girl's shirt looks cool. And I don't say it, and I don't say it out loud. We need to say these things when we think these things, because that compliment, that thought, that moment can change a person's day, week, month, year. I mean, you really can impact somebody with just a nice thought.
I may get a little bit teary on this because it has to do with exactly that. I have a friend of mine. She lives in San Francisco. She was on the trolley one day and she saw this girl sitting next to her, and she said, this girl needs something. She struck up a conversation, started talking to this girl. They had such a good time talking that they went. These newfound friends went and got lunch. They stayed in contact, and the girl reached back out to her a couple months later and goes, "Hey, you didn't know this, but I was on my way to kill myself." And that conversation literally saved her life.
Oh my gosh.
So imagine the power of that is incredible. And everybody, no matter who you are, if someone says something nice to you, you're going to be so feeling good about it.
Yeah.
Monica, do you make a point to maybe saying that to like 5 people a day, 2 people a day, 1 person a day? I mean, how do you divvy that up?
Yeah, I'm following the Hank. This is not a Hank Avink commercial, but I am following Hank's. He does a 50, 25, and 1, and it's 50 handshakes, or what the version of that is, like 50 likes or hearts or cry or whatever those little icons on. 50 of those, you're either giving them or getting them. It's the intent is to do those. I think actually it's a high five, and then you're having 20 conversations where maybe you will comment. You'll give a little bit more than just that click. And you'll go, is everything all right?
Yeah, I'm like, whoops, sorry.
And then you have 5 conversations where you'll take that comment into more of a conversation, whether it's live or in text or on Facebook message. And then you have 1 go deep conversation where you just show up for somebody and you just come at them, all about them. And that's probably, there are a bunch of watch outs when you're doing these things, and I have a whole list of them. One of them is where you're trying to show up for somebody and you just are pouring your stuff all over them. When we talk about, you come to deliver dinner to this person that's having this really bad week, and you bring the dinner and you're just talking about your day and everything that's happening to you and blah, 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 instead of asking questions and pouring into them and showing up for them. Put your shit on the back burner for now. But people make that mistake a lot. It's hard for people to stop.
How can you watch out for that? I mean, if you see yourself talking about you all the time, just like, oh, shut up, Monica, tell me more about you. Something like that, right?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's an awareness around it, especially in those key moments where you're trying to connect with somebody. And you just have to be intentional. Like, this is going to be about them. Somebody told me once, in a meeting or any interaction, the person who talks the most thinks it went the best. And the person who asked the questions was actually in charge of the meeting. And it's just such a great way to look at it. So let that person talk the most and let them think it went the best.
I love that, because I know the whole asking, he or she who asks the questions controls the conversation. But I like that he or she who talked the most thinks it went the best.
Yeah,
it's a great.
Let your client
That's why Matt thinks our conversations are so good, because he talks the most.
Yeah, let me just put that out to the live Facebook audience. How many people even remotely believe that comment has a kernel of truth to it? That's funny.
You guys know who Mary Kay Ash is? Mary Kay Ash?
Yeah,
she's
the entrepreneur that started Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Yeah, she has a quote that says, well, I'll butcher it, but the gist of it is, everybody has a sign around their neck that says, make me feel important. And if you do that, you will win. You win the game of life. Make me feel important.
Yeah.
Matt, you're important.
Thanks. I'm deeply touched, believe me. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything that's kind of responsible for what I've been able to do in both in real estate and podcasting and whatever. It's just that like that part seems to come naturally. Like I struggle with the 50 conversation, like the handshakes, high fives on social media. I'm horrible at that. I tend to go into voyeur mode because I'm not, necessarily as outward facing as I should be. But that part of it, I'm really good at naturally, and that's been responsible for a lot of great opportunities and friendships and lifelong friendships. Hopefully, have come out of that just by in those initial encounters, shutting up, listening, let them do most of the talking, make them feel important. Not in a selfish way to get what I want out of the conversation, but that just for whatever reason that part of it comes naturally. And yeah, that's been really, really huge.
And when you have that natural gift already, and you show up for people in the way of what you're saying is hard to you, when those two things combine, your flag is being flown at a really high level there. Yeah. You're already doing it through just a natural ability. When you put a little bit of intention with it, sky's the limit.
I love that. I mean, it's such a different way of thinking about stuff because everybody's thinking about me. You got to go you. And then bada bing, bada boom, you get what you want. But people, they don't think that way. They literally, it's completely the opposite. So, I mean,
right.
I'm going to go today. I'm going to put this into action. I mean, I thought I was pretty good at a lot of this. Apparently I'm not, so I want to do it. So what's another thing that people can do when it comes to making other people feel really good about themselves?
I mean, another thing, for instance, and I say Facebook, but it's social media, Pinterest, Instagram, whatever you're doing. Another thing that is really actually very free and very nice is when you share something of value with them that is of value to them. So it's a value piece. And we do this in real estate too when you're trying to connect with people. If you are a big music lover, Matt, and I see an article in Rolling Stone that talks about the last century of music or something, and I just send you the link and say, hey, nobody I think of more than, when I see this than you. I hope all is well. See ya. You get that, and I don't even care if you open it. I really don't. It's not the point. The point is that I made that connection. I acknowledge that you have a love of music. I know that. I think of you when I see that, and I'm going to let you know that. And that's something
I can literally think of maybe two people. As much as people know that I'm into music, I can think of maybe two people that have actually done that. One of them is Frank from Viral Marketing. Like he'll randomly send me like, hey, Tower Power is going to be in San Diego. Like he'll send me the event details or whatever on Facebook. And of course, we've never gone to a show together. He has a wife and two kids. Like, when are we going to go to a show together?
Right.
But it doesn't matter, right? Even if I didn't open the article, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if he was trying to sell me something. Wouldn't matter. Like just that, him sending that to me and going, oh, wow, like he actually knows something about like my outside of business life that he remembers and cares about. Yeah, that's all it counts.
You got it. And when you were saying that, it came to my mind that you said you can think of only maybe two people. And here's why this all works is because the bar is really low. And we as agents need to stand out. Even mortgage loan officers, I don't care what you're selling. We need to stand out. We have to. And the bar is really low on this, unfortunately. It just is. And, it's great for selling, but more importantly, it's just great for the culture of your business. And it just makes you feel good. When you do this, we all want to be that person. I mean, you want to be the person that remembers every birthday. You want to be the person that, sends the baby gift. But instead, you bought the baby gift and it's sitting in your trunk and you forgot to send it. And now the kid's like 6 months old and the onesie's not going to fit anymore. And right? We all want to do this right. We know the value of it. Not one person will sit here and say, Monica, you're full of shit. That is the biggest part. Just get on the phone and make some calls. Like, not many people will say that. They might say, I'm not doing that. Okay. But they know the value of it is there. And it's just hard because it's never on fire. It just is never on fire.
So, I mean, could a version of this be maybe going on if I know Matt likes music and I could go back, go find, I don't know, drumsticks or something. And they're like, oh, cool, some wickedly cool drumsticks. Boop. Amazon send card. Hey, dude, thought you could rock with these. Kick ass.
Well,
$5.
Does anything come to mind when you say that?
What?
Remember what happened when you showed up to the event in LA?
No.
So guys, getting, and this leads us into our next thing on thoughtful gift giving, right? So Monica, we put together this, and when I say we, it was mostly the guy that put the event together, Glenn Twiddle, who's about to be kind of a semi-regular on the show. So you guys may remember him. So he puts this event together in LA that we can all speak at, right? Called Real Estate Renegades. Yeah. So Josh Altman ends up headlining this thing, and but it was mostly me, Greg, and Brian Casella that marketed it, and we're going to be the speakers and yada yada. So we show up that morning. Glenn's coming in from Australia to speak, and his team did most of the legwork on putting the actual event together. And he had given like you and Brian Casella something behind the scenes. But he shows up, and the first thing he does at this event is he takes out this memorabilia plaque. It was a guitar pick guard signed by the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, from Matt.
Because he stalked me on Facebook.
Right.
He saw that I had posted a cover version of one of the Foo Fighters songs, like super easy, wasn't that hard. He looked around, looked for some memorabilia, bought it, had it shipped it in, so it was waiting for him when he got here at the hotel, gave it to me in person. Yeah, I was so touched, like it ended up going up in the wall in my office. I mean, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't the execution that was hard, but the thoughtfulness that went into it made such an impact. I've never had anybody do that. That was like next level, but yeah, it made such an impact that. Yeah, it's a perfect example, right? So now, like if you go back into, like, I don't have that office set up anymore, but like if you guys go back to previous episodes and you see a plaque in the background over my left shoulder of a guitar pickguard, that's from Glenn.
That is exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. And anytime you can combine one or more of somebody's passions into a gift, that's it. So ask yourself first, what are their passions? What are their likes? What are their hobbies? Start there. If you can combine two of those things, like if somebody's a big golfer and they're a huge Cincinnati Bengals fan, who day?
Oh, I'm huge. What's the Bengals again? Yeah.
It's going to be big. It's our year. It's our year.
I know. They're one of the top teams in the AFC. I get it. You guys are going to beat the Patriots, and yeah.
Well, the Patriots, you see that game last night? Was not good.
I very much look forward to that. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, if you can do that, if you can, send somebody this cool golf shoe bag with a Bengals logo on it and their initials embroidered in it. Oh, now funny. You've covered, like, you've got their name, you've got the Bengals, you got the golf. Those are what a thoughtful gift is. And you know that phrase, it's the thought that counts. That is the biggest bunch of bullshit. It's not the thought that counts. Because if I can be on the way to a party and stop at Walgreens and pick up a Subway gift card, and that was a thought. No, it's the thoughtful thought that counts. And that way you don't have to perform it perfectly every time. But if you're showing that thought, like Matt, your example, even if he missed the mark with the gift, that he looked for it. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have a buddy, Stefan Adika, who's watching. What up, Adika? And he's good friends with a guy named Derek Sherinian, who is a keyboardist and Matt's favorite keyboardist. So Stefan picks up the phone, calls his boy Derek, yo, Derek, let's call Matt. Matt's dumbass was on a phone call, missed the call with Derek, but Stefan took it to another level. He got Matt and Derek on a chat on Facebook to the point where we're having him on the show. So Matt got to meet one of his idols, and I don't think Matt's ever going to forget Adika for that one.
No.
Wow.
It was funny. I was just about to mention, by the way, the what's going on in the chat currently is ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Stefan is contributing to this.
Yes, it is.
So somebody asked, is this the Hurricane Irma version of REU, as if we're down in like the bunker? So yes, that's why we're here. So I said, so somebody said Hurricane Johnson. That'd be a good name for Matt, which is hilarious.
And they can't even lift your little wood denting babies off the ground.
Yeah, I know. That's Stefan says, get tattoos on your chest and door knock with no shirt on. You'll stand out. Apparently, there's a Boston musician who has a tattoo of himself as a centaur on his chest. Now that's a bold move. That
might be exactly opposite of what we're talking about.
Yes,
I think it is. Yeah. I think it is. And then Kara and Paul agree. It's Pats will bounce back, but it's uphill. But don't count them out. So yeah, there's some fairly ridiculousness going on in the live Facebook chat right now, guys.
But keep it going. This is awesome
because it's very entertaining reading this alongside of what we're talking about. But yeah, it's one of those things where Monica, you're absolutely right. It's even if you miss the mark, so like that, which might hold people back from taking a step like this. Like, well, I don't know if it comes across. Don't even worry about it. A great example is I ran into this guy. He started a big team in Minnesota, moved out to San Diego, and just started to like he's done it, like he's built the whole team and exited his business. So he comes out here to San Diego, decides, I just want to be a lifestyle agent. I just want to work with $1 million and up homes. I'm going to make $1 million a year selling real estate, one home at a time, do a few deals a month. So what he does is when he gets a lead, he treats that lead as precious. He calls them. He like sends gifts, like he sends flowers and candy or something that speaks directly to them. Some of it's out of an expression of his own personality, and then the rest of it's tailored to their personality. So he only needs a couple of handfuls of good leads. And then for every client that he gets, he sets the expectation that, look, during our experience together, you're going to be so incredibly blown away and happy with the service that we have and the experience that you have with us that you're going to naturally and gladly send me to your friends and family that are ready to do something in real estate. Does that sound fair? Well, of course. Like who wouldn't want that offer, right? And oh, by the way, like when we get you into that next home, we're going to throw you a housewarming party. And we're going to help you invite your neighbors, get to know them a little bit. We're going to help you invite your friends and family so you can show them this amazing home that we just helped you move into. Would that be fair? Absolutely. Why not? He throws a $500 budget at it, teams up with his lender, gets half of that paid for. Guess what? He gets to show up and be the hero. And Greg, you've talked about this, just showing up and being like the servant that makes sure the party goes smoothly. But he gets to be the guy that introduces, himself to all their circle of friends as the guy that put them into this amazing house. And that incredibly, incredibly smart, powerful expression of exactly what you're talking about.
Now, I love that. And that's showing up differently right there. Just that in of itself. And he's setting the expectation of, I'm going to super serve you, and then you're going to want to help refer business to me. And that's that's a step that we miss a lot, is maybe we do all these things, or maybe we super serve, but we don't teach people how to give us referrals. And he's obviously doing a really good job by just hitting it right up front and kind of asking for what he wants. But if we don't, we can do all this stuff we're talking about, but if people don't know how to repay us, actually, Greg, you said the law of reciprocity earlier, which is sort of the umbrella over everything I always talk about. That's why this stuff works. It's because the universal law of reciprocity says when somebody does something nice for you, you're going to have an innate, in your DNA need to repay them. You're going to be compelled. Well, we as agents need to make sure that we clear that path. Like, what does that look like to repay me? The path is really clear that it's in the form of a referral. It's not an obvious thing. It's just through flying that flag on Facebook or however we're communicating with our database. I'll give you a really ridiculous example. It's almost embarrassing. My dad is a really smart guy. He's an attorney, very smart, educated. One day I picked up the phone. My sister was going through a divorce, and she was going to need to move out of her house and was going to need to go to a condo. And I said, talked to my dad on a Saturday morning. He said, I got to go take your sister to look at this condo. I said, what do you think I do for a living, Dad? What? Oh, well, of course, use you when it's time to write a contract. Like, oh, my God. I mean, my sister had seen 13 condos with another agent from another firm, and she was going back to see this one for a second time. My bad. Right, but that's my bad. I assume that everybody knows how it works and how I work and how to give me business. And it's not an intelligence level thing. It's just a lack of communication on our part.
Yeah, that really is true. And that goes back to being a secret agent. I mean, if you guys are just starting out, wear your fucking name badges, okay? There have been multiple times that I have talked to agents that are brand new and they had their little name badge on. And a gal that I was coaching 2 or 3 years ago did this. She showed it to one of her daughter's volleyball games. And the lady was sitting next to her. No, they'd known each other forever, had no clue the lady was a real estate agent. Goes, oh, you sell real estate? Like, well, yeah. Oh, shoot, this is on. Yeah. Oh, man, I wish I'd known that. We just wrote an offer on a second house last week. Oh, damn it. But I mean, it goes.
And this is why I should have got drumsticks tattooed on my forearms, like I want to.
Play music. I mean,
you just gotta let people know what you do. All right. But yeah, you're exactly right, and this is one of the things that we cover in our course, Getting Out Business, because of this exact thing, which is That's a great example of it. There's a mortgage guy I ran into that was running a multi-million-dollar mortgage company, and his own aunt went out, bought a house, got a loan through Wells Fargo, and then called him up and said, hey, you do something with loans or whatever. Like, well, you want to maybe look over my loan and see what you think. He's like, what? Yeah, same thing. Multi-million-dollar loan company that he started from scratch, and she didn't connect it, didn't use him, and then wanted him to look over a Wells Fargo loan of all things out. Anyway, that's gotta just that's like getting stabbed and then like slowly pulling it out like one inch at a time. All right,
but probably Bob from Remax probably referred.
Yeah, it's probably that Bob from Remax. Anyway, so guys, check that out. That's gettingoutbusiness.com where we talk about this. But what I was going to say is that we talk about just how important it is to, number one, identify who your ideal client is, and how you want people to refer you business, and so that when you talk to the people that you're close to, your friends, your family, your inner circle and stuff like that, like they don't know what you do. They don't know who you want to work with. God forbid you know who you want to work with. That's a trip for most agents. And number three, they don't know how to send you business. They don't know how to professionally introduce one professional to a potential client. Nobody knows how to do it. You have to tell them how to do it.
So true. It's a part of our job, and we can do all the greatest gifting and thoughtfulness in the entire world. But if they don't know what the path back to you is, then that's on you.
One of the things that I do that helps out with my database, knowing who I am and consistently, touching them. I'll tell a funny story about this in a second.
About the consistent touching?
Yes, touch. No, but I use viral marketing, and twice a month they send out. I shoot videos with them every Friday. They pretty them up with a header and a footer, and they blast it out, and they give me counts, and like I'm having them go through every single lead I've ever received, and they're going to give me all my sellers and buyer leads back. I'm going to follow up with them, but to the point where one of my old TCs, transaction coordinators, she came in, and her name's Diane. I jump up. I haven't seen her in, 3 years. I'm like, Diane, how are you? Oh my God, what's new? She's like, I always see you showing up in my inbox, and I just go delete. And I'm like, what the? Are you serious? But you know what? She saw me every 2 weeks.
Doesn't matter.
And she knew it was real estate.
Yep.
That's right. Her husband's a real estate agent, so it doesn't matter. But
one of those.
From your list.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Monica. So let's finish out with this. What does this look like in very practical terms that people can start to implement right away, especially in terms of time blocking? So what does prospecting with this style, what does that actually look like on a daily basis?
Sure. So the first thing you have to do is identify and decide your database. And so you're going to ask yourself these questions. You're going to ask yourself, who do I want to be in business with? I love that. That's the first thing. Who do I want to be in business with? Because if you can't be authentic and you're not dealing with other authentic people, it's just a mismatch. It's going to be really hard. The second thing is this person in a position to give me referrals? And I don't mean that in a real nitpicky way. I mean that in the sense that are they themselves a real estate agent and they're not giving you referrals? Or, is this somebody I don't know very well and he's the mayor of a small town I'd like to do more business with in? So I will put them sort of on my target. Your A's and your B's, you don't have to know them to start developing the relationships. You just have to know that you think you want to start developing.
These are, at this point, they'd be, what would you call, like, suspects. You could go A suspects and B suspects or something like that. People that you suspect can be of value to your business.
Perfect. Yep. That's a great way to say it. Okay. So the A's I'm going to talk to differently through the year. I might target doing something for them every other month. I literally use a wall CRM. Like I just put my 36 down the side and I put thoughtful gift, random act of kindness, piece of value, handwritten note. That's something we didn't talk about. That's really great. Hallmark card on an off holiday. You don't want to do the Christmas and the everything. You want to do a Mother's Day or a Father's Day. I mean, when you send somebody a Father's Day or Mother's Day card, you're not an agent. You're like Aunt Monica. You're not Monica the realtor, right? You're connecting differently. So I'll just make sure I'm covering all of those things that I decide I want to do in the way of touches with those people. So and for me, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say a thing that Chicago Title is now doing is they are now sending us the anniversary of the purchase of the home. So we get these on a daily basis. So take a your handy dandy little, watch out, your handy dandy little card, which does have my face on it, by the way. Thank you for, this was a gift. This was a thank you card, and these are all, you were talking about handwritten cards. I have a huge stack of handwritten cards, and I keep every one of them because they mean something. I don't throw those away. But you take it and you write this thing out, and with the handwriting, just write something. Hey, happy anniversary! I can't believe it's been 5 years for you guys. If I can ever, let's get together and grab a cup of coffee I'll even buy you a scone, Greg. Yeah. I know Matt would take me up on that. But
well, yeah, and especially you want to make sure you're doing something that they want to do. Don't take me to coffee. I don't like coffee. Like, make sure you're think of them.
Aha, full circle.
Right.
Don't take me to coffee.
So identify your database.
Take me to a vodka bar. That would be much better.
I knew we were going to be friends. Is
it Tito's? Is that what you like?
If I say yes, what happens?
I get a bottle. I don't know. So I will treat this as lead gen time, Matt, to get back to your question. If you are doing 36 times 6 touches and then another 50 to 100 people times 4 touches every year, that takes a lot. That's about 2 hours every day if you're doing it right. Wow. It is replacing lead gen. Now, do you need to spend that much time? No. If you say, Monica, all right, I'm not going to do that, but I'll do it an hour every day, then we'll just, focus on those A's and just go all in on them.
Yeah, but you see, why wouldn't you spend that much time? I mean, what if you did spend the 2 hours, and if you're complaining you don't have business now and you don't have a budget to do anything like buy $2,000 worth of Zillow ads every single month or something, crazy, why wouldn't you spend 2 hours? I mean, you're spending 2 hours probably chasing down some online lead bullshit. Why don't you go take you to a vodka bar at 9 a.m., or take Matt out to coffee at, 6 p.m. I mean, whatever works the best, because I'm always thinking of you.
Right. No, you're right. And there was a survey done, and I know we're getting close to our time, but there was a survey actually that Keller Williams did of a bunch of agents, and they took all the activities that were generating GCI and broke the budget out. And referrals, sphere of influence, and repeat business was generating 75% of the GCI of these top performing agents, but only 21% of their budget was going towards that. No. And on the opposite side of that, they were spending 36% on online ads and only getting 10% of GCI. Now, why would you? That is just so ass backwards to me. Pour into this 75% of your GCI and enhance that with your dollars and forget the rest. That's just
no, it really is true. I mean, we try. Our team, we're definitely shiny object sometimes. Well, I'm shiny object at times, but I mean, a large majority, of our business is our database calling us, going, "Hey Terry, it's Bob. How's life? Come over and sell my monstrous home." And we're like, "Okay, Bob, we're on the way." But it really is true. I mean, Chris, my other business partner, he's a cyclist, right? Competitive, really good cyclist. And him putting on spandex and sitting on an uncomfortably tiny seat and riding on tiny little tires for hours and hours at a time has generated us millions of dollars in income and tens of millions of dollars in volume. Wow. And it's from just hanging out. My dad, he got a little fat, okay? Wine and chocolate do well when you don't work out. And so my mom would go, get your chubby butt into doing something. And he was like, okay. And he has 2 knee replacements. He couldn't go running anymore, so he jumped in the pool. From swimming up at his country club, he generated I think the total value on volume there was like $6 million in volume from swimming and getting healthy.
Wow.
He's just being around people.
And connecting with other people, that were swimming,
Yeah, but agoraphobe, example A, that might be a little bit difficult. So what's the mindset you could do to get out of that? To get out of that mindset of like, oh, they don't want to talk to me. Oh, I haven't talked to them in 5 years. I mean, what would you suggest for someone like that?
I say stop playing small. That's just playing small. Like you can make a difference in somebody's life. This game on Facebook is not to impress everybody. Go ahead, and Hank says this all the time, attract and repel. Like you have to. And for me, I always try to walk this line and make everybody happy, and you don't make anybody happy when you do that. Yeah. And you got to be careful of the left and the right and the sides of that. But you're playing small, and what if something you did change somebody's life, like that example you just gave of the gal on the bus? What if by you not saying something or doing something, you're not making a difference in that person's life?
So I'm not going to read the whole quote, but I have a quote. I am going to get this thing tattooed on me. It's pretty big, but it says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking, so other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others."
That's cool.
Isn't that cool? I love that quote. And
I can't wait to
How are you going to get that on your body?
Tattooed.
All right. How is that going to be on your body?
All the way down the side.
Yes, it would be.
It's going to hurt like a bitch.
Yes, it would be.
But I mean, it goes. Here's your marching orders today, everybody. Go out there and shine, and stop hiding your light. So because you're going to give the other people to do the exact same thing, that they can then pay it forward, and you will literally start a trend of goodness every day you do that.
That is awesome. I love that. Yep, we could use a little of it.
And
Hank.
Speaking of giving,
Hank Evix is with us.
What?
Hank
is he watching?
Hank just jumped on.
Nice, good for him.
Oh, he's he's three favorite people.
Just checking up on you, Monica.
Yes,
so speaking of giving, I think you have something for everyone in the audience, right?
I do. So little free giveaway today. If you go to thegenerousagent.com, thegenerousagent.com, I have a 12 secrets to thoughtful gifting. They're just some little tips to think about as you're getting started. Just to help you sort of make the right decisions early. But guess what? There are no wrong decisions. Just do it. But the 12 secrets of thoughtful gifting. And then when you're in there, if you want to, I am teaching this in a 2-hour course, and we're going to dive deeper into what that looks like every day and actionable items and those kind of things. You can get all that information. I'm doing a special for your listeners. $39. It's usually a $199 course. So I just want to offer it. I just want to get it out there. I want to spread the word and spread this kindness. Our industry could use a little of this, don't you think?
Yo, yeah.
I know. We were joking around about this the other day. There's that clip from John Mulaney's bit about realtors. Like every realtor seems to hate each other. You walk into the listing like, "Hey Jan, hey Bob." Yeah. Like we could use a little of this between agents, but that's beside the point.
We'll put that link in the you guys go back. Whoever's watching this on iTunes, go find this on my Facebook feed. We will put that clip in there. Guarantee you will. You might pee a little bit. It's that funny.
So funny. Oh my God, guys. All right, so we covered how people can reach out to you with thegenerousagent.com. Do you want them to connect with you on Facebook or any other place besides that?
Yeah, you can like either my personal page, Monica Weakley, Weakley, or my coaching page, which is My Coach Monica.
Perfect. That's easy enough to find. All right, guys, for us, obviously follow us. Do not friend us on Facebook. We cannot or will not accept friend requests. I won't tell us which one is who.
I have the kind heart. He has the heart of stone and coal.
Whatever. All right, you're at your limit. But anyway, so follow us on Facebook, and then, like as we said earlier, this show is sponsored by the Get Now Business course, where we talk a lot about these elements. Some of the same approaches, definitely the same approach of treating people as a client, someone that's under your care and protection, not a customer, which is someone who just buys a service or a product from you. Very, very important. We also talk about how to train the people that are in your inner circle as an army that's out there looking for referrals, because they know what you do, who you work with, and how to send those people your way. Very, very important. Now, those are some of the things we talk about in Getting Out Business. That is the cover of the course outline right there. So you guys can go to thank you for that, getnoutbusiness.com, so you can check that out. Make sure to subscribe to the show, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. Share it, guys. We really appreciate you guys sharing it. Like some people, I think we had a bunch of people that shared our last live broadcast onto their own Facebook channels and into their Facebook groups that they are a member of, which is super helpful, guys. So if you enjoy like this type of content, guys, if you know an agent in your office that is struggling because all they're hearing is go pound the phones and you know it's not right for them, share this episode. Get this content into their hands so that hopefully we don't have 87% of the people failing out of the business every 2 years. It's very, very bad. It's bad for the consumer. It's bad for the agent. And we would like that to stop.
Yes. We want you to pull a Coach Monica and go listen. It's all about them and share the show. Okay?
That's right.
That's right. Push it out.
We're calling a Coach Monica moment.
That's right.
Okay, guys. We love you. Thanks for watching. And as always, peace out, ninjas. We gone.
Oh my.